Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to take you through a brief overview of Automate add-in for Microsoft Outlook. We'll take a brief look at the user interface, how it's integrated with Outlook, and we'll create our first rule. So let's get started. So in a previous video we installed Automate and got it up and running with Outlook. So in this video I'll assume that's already been done. So when Outlook is open, Automate is active. You can see there's a new tab that's been created on your Outlook ribbon bar. If you click the Automate tab, you'll see various ribbon buttons that allow you to interact with the add-in. There's the ability to open up the Rule Manager, which is the primary interface to viewing, editing, and running rules. There's some functions for easily creating and updating rules. There's buttons to execute the rules manually or even pause the operation of the add-in, and there's a convenient snooze function which we could talk about in a later video. So let's get right to creating your first rule. So one of the most common types of rules that people create is to file a message based on a particular sender to a particular folder in their folder tree. So in this example here, we're going to take messages that come from Acme widget and we'll file them to the folder also named Acme widget. Okay, so the easiest way to do that is to leverage a message that's in your inbox already, that is already there and it comes from Acme widget. So we can use the properties of that message to easily build a rule. So if you click this message and then click on the new rule button drop down, you'll see that there's various types of rule templates already pre-built for you to create certain types of rules, even a custom rule builder which is more advanced. In this example we'll just use the file to folder rule because that will accomplish exactly what we want. So with the message selected, click on File to Folder, and you'll see that it automatically extracts the sender's email address and populates it here. And it already pre-selected the folder, the Acme widget folder, that we wanted to file to. And it does that by knowing the names of the folders in your system, and it actually learns the more you create these rules, the more it'll be able to automatically suggest folders for you. So this is the first folder that it suggested. There could have been more in this drop down here. And of course, if this is not the right folder, which it's possible, of course, you can actually click this button here and go through and select any folder you have created in your Outlook tree, or even create a new one. Okay, for this example, we'll assume everything's correct here. So when messages arrive in my inbox from the following people, we're going to move the messages to this particular folder. So all you have to do is click the Create Rule button, and your new rule has been created. So this is the default name for your rule. It's called File Messages from Acme Widget to Acme Widget. If you want to change that, you can go ahead and name that anything you want. There's some additional buttons here which we'll cover in another video, but for this, for right now, the rule has been created and we can close this. So now we can go into the Rule Manager. You could click the top half of this button here for quick access. And as you could see now, we have our first rule created. Here's the name, and there's some other properties here of the rule, which you can scan across. Some of them may not be populated yet because it has not executed yet, but we could actually click this and open up this rule to see the detailed properties. Okay, so this is the full properties window, and you can see that it's organized in groups of functionality. So this particular tab here really is about picking the particular rule type, so it already did that for us. And the source folder, which was the inbox, and then you could see that there's a folder for addresses, and we've already populated the address that we want from the sender. There's a series of conditions which we're not using. We're leaving everything to default, so none of these conditions are being matched against. And then there's some advanced functionality, and actions is the one we want to look at and check. So you could do a number of different actions in the Pro version here, and you'll notice that the Move to action is the only one selected, and the Acme widget folder has already been populated here. Okay, so we could close this, and because this little checkbox is selected here, this rule is active and ready to run. So one thing that's very helpful when you're creating rules, and rules that maybe even a little bit more complex, is you can use a convenient test function to see which messages your rule would act upon when it runs. And this will help you debug and test your rules to make sure you get them right before you start putting them into operation. So with this message selected, you click on Test Rule, and you'll see that it already found that one message that's sitting in the inbox. And you could actually just verify how many messages it'll act upon. And you could even open up the message directly from here to double check. By double clicking here, it'll actually open the message itself. So let's close that, close this window, and close the Rule Manager window. So we're ready actually to go. So what we could do for this example is go into and act like the Acme Widget Company and send the message over to John Smith and see how this rule functions. Okay, so let's compose a message to John Smith. Here we go. Information you requested. Okay, and let's actually attach a file and send this message off. Okay, so now we'll just wait for the message to come in, and Automate should fire shortly after the message is received in the inbox. Okay, the new message just arrived and the rule just executed, and you could see it actually moved both messages, both the new one and the one that was sitting in the inbox, into the Acme widget folder. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in a future video.